This is WNEP TV 16, the news station. Now, Nolan, Johannes, Karen Harch, Jack Ruland in SciCam 16, meteorologist Tom Clark with his backyard forecast, and Tim Carlson Sports. This is Newswatch 16.
The state of Pennsylvania did not spend 1 cent today, but the governor has signed the state general fund budget for this new fiscal year. So, as a result, checks can go out tomorrow. In Harrisburg, the legislature passed the $9.7 billion general fund portion of the budget this afternoon and sent it to the governor's desk. He signed it about 1 hour ago. In Scranton, even though it looks like business as usual in the state office building today, one group was being affected. 2,400 Lackawanna County families were missing their welfare checks today. The state says now that the budget is signed by the governor, it'll take another day or two to get those checks to welfare recipients. When the full $18 billion budget is passed, here are some of the features that'll affect most of us. In September, a reduction in our state income tax rate from 2.2 to 2.1%. That's about $20 a year for someone making $20,000. Corporate income taxes also will go down from 9.5% to 8.5%. An increase of 6% in basic aid to local school districts, the total $2.2 billion, plus a one-time amount of $38 million to help local districts ease local property taxes for schools. $7 million for the federal supplemental food program for pregnant women and for infants and children. Also, food banks would get $8 million, and that's a decrease of $1 million over last year. The legislature late today unanimously approved a bill designed to reduce health care costs, and they sent it to the governor for his signature. That bill would reduce medical costs by giving patients information to help them make up their minds on where to get the best health care. Proponents say that this should also make health care providers more competitive. They add that this new measure, if signed by the governor, will put Pennsylvania on the cutting edge of efforts to cut the cost of medical care in Pennsylvania. Karen?
The federal government is thinking about changing the way communities receive money to clean up from disasters. It's Uncle Sam's way of saving money, but it could end up costing us. A hearing was held today in Scranton to talk about disaster relief.
Newswatch 16's Bob Reynolds was there, and he's live now in the Mid-Valley section of Lackawanna County, an area that has been hard hit by flooding. Bob?
Well, Nolan, last September, Hurricane Gloria literally dumped tons of rain on our region, and that's when the Lackawanna River roared from its banks. $6 million of federal money was pumped into our area to clean up damage to public buildings, roads, and bridges. That money came from FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency. But if another storm with Gloria's fury should strike again, and FEMA gets its way and changes its rules, officials say our area wouldn't get a dime.
And the bills that we've introduced, Joe McDade in the House, myself and Senator Specter in the Senate, are going to prevent FEMA from dropping the word compassion and assistance from its vocabulary. And our bill...
Republicans, Senator John Hines and Congressman Joseph McDade, are lining up against the Republican administration to fight the changes. Hearings were held in Scranton today, and everyone agreed the cuts could be disastrous to taxpayers.
If local government were required to provide a share of public property damage costs in order to obtain federal assistance, the chances for recovery in most communities are non-existent.
Even high-ranking state officials are fighting the plan.
I believe it is apparent that the proposed FEMA formula would, in effect, represent an abdication by FEMA of its responsibility to share in disaster relief throughout the nation.
FEMA admits it could save millions by making local and state governments pay more to clean up from disasters, but insists it's all fair.
It is based on our evaluation of what would be reasonable for state and local governments to be able to absorb.
So the battle lines are drawn between federal lawmakers and Washington budget cutters. But it's clear the outcome could affect the way our government deals with natural disasters in a lot of our communities for years to come. Bob Reynolds, Newswatch 16 with a live Instacam report in Lackawanna County. Nolan, Karen?
Thank you, Bob. When Newswatch 16 continues, we'll update you on plans to build a downtown mall in Scranton.
Plus, we'll have some advice on keeping your pets calm as everyone fires up to celebrate the 4th of July.
To me, an automobile is not just a car. An automobile should be a work of art. So I compared the new Ford Taurus to the Audi 5000S. You know what? This Taurus makes you stand back and take a serious look. I love the dynamic lines, the way it feels on the road. Best of all, I love the money I saved. The Taurus costs over $5,000 less than the Audi. So why spend the extra money when you have the art of engineering right here? Ford Taurus.
Ford Taurus, Motor Trend's car of the year at your Quality Plus Ford dealer now. If we all could fly and soar and leap and flash through the sky, then we would always know the feeling of Dorney Park and Wildwater Kingdom. Excitement, amusement, and recreation for the body and mind. In Allentown, Pennsylvania, Kodak is the official supplier of photo products to Dorney and Wildwater Kingdom. Watch for special offers this summer.
Scranton officials will head to Washington later this month to try to convince Uncle Sam to kick in money for the new downtown shopping mall. The proposed mall would be built here on Lackawanna Avenue in Scranton. Initially, officials thought they'd need $70 million from private investors. Now they say they could do it with $60 million. But on top of that, they could use $7 million in government grant money. 110 shops are included in the mall plan. About 24 businesses now on Lackawanna Ave would be torn down to make room. If everything goes according to plan, the first renovations on the Oppenheims building in Scranton could begin in October.
Just about everyone loves 4th of July fireworks, right? Wrong. Newswatch 16's Bob Constantini has a warning tonight for pet owners. Veterinarians say all that banging and booming can be harmful to your pet's mental health.
LJ is usually a friendly collie, even to a stranger outside his Mechanicsville pen. But there's one thing that really gets to LJ and his owner, Sandy Davis. Booming firecrackers and fireworks set off in this neighborhood just outside Pottsville have a serious effect on LJ. His owner remembers the past few 4ths of July when the dog heard firecrackers nearby.
He gets very upset. He shakes. He gets like tremors, and he foams from the mouth.
LJ is going to the vet tomorrow for some tranquilizers. Veterinarians say some dogs even become vicious and destructive because of stress from booming fireworks.
As a last resort, tranquilizers can be used for anti-anxiety medication, but just like in people, it just covers up the problem. It doesn't solve any problem for them. The best thing is to try and comfort the dog more so than drug the dog, I feel.
Dr. Sarah Thornton, a Pottsville vet, says dogs should be kept inside when fireworks are being set off close by.
What makes matters worse is the fact that dogs have much more sensitive hearing than we do. So fireworks that don't seem too loud to us are still very loud to them. Bob Costantini, Newswatch 16, Pottsville.
The 100 or so antique cars in the Great American Race are inching closer and closer to a July 4th arrival in Wilkes-Barre. And let's hope they don't bring rain with them. Heavy rain slowed the going today as the cars crossed the Mississippi on the way from St. Louis to Indianapolis. Newswatch 16 reporter Mark Davis and photographers Jan Vatatka and Tim Keegan are covering the race the rest of the way. Tonight on the Update at 11, we'll have an exclusive report via satellite on today's run to Indianapolis. Tomorrow, Mark will report from Columbus, Ohio. Thursday from Washington, D.C. And Friday, we'll have team coverage as the great race reaches Wilkes-Barre.
And the man to tell us about rain, hopefully not, is Tom Clark.
Yeah, what is this rain plus, did you say?
The same storm that affected the Great Race, heading right for Pennsylvania.
Uh-oh.
And that'll be followed by, that's what's more than just rain coming. Got some changes coming in the old temperature department once again. Talk about that when we come back. You're watching Newswatch 16 on WNET TV, and we're proud to serve Freeland and saluting the folks at St. Casimir's Church, who will be celebrating their congregation's 100th anniversary, July 4th.
If you could ignore crowds, wouldn't you? If you could rid yourself of backache and headache, free yourself from water weight gain, and avoid monthly tension, wouldn't you? Now you can, with new extra strength multi-symptom relief formula Pamprin. And none of these can relieve all of those symptoms. Can they? New extra strength multi-symptom relief formula Pamprin. Now stronger than ever. If you haven't tried, shouldn't you?
A&A Auto Parts stores ask you, does your car sway too much, especially around corners? Or does it sometimes bottom out on severe impact? You don't need a new car. You need new shock absorbers. Gabriel Gaslighter shocks. Pressurized nitrogen gas improves resistance for more efficient damping and more responsive handling than you get from ordinary shocks. You also find Gabriel gas-charged struts and cartridges available. Gabriel Gasrider shocks for as low as $14.95 at any one of your local A&A Auto Parts stores.
Well, let's find out how much rain is headed our way. How about it, Tom Clark?
It looks like a soaking rain, Karen. Could get quite heavy by daybreak tomorrow. And speaking of rain, boy, did we have a lot last month here in this backyard. The reading was well over 7 inches. Let me show you on the graph here. Well above what is normal for the month of June, just about 3.5 inches, but 7.8 was the total here. And a lot of that came with some very heavy downpours. Berks County, down there at the bottom of your screen, my weather watcher Mike Swinar lives down there in Redding, and he has a reading of 69 degrees at this hour. Cloudy skies down there. Debbie Werman in Dunmore has a 70-degree reading, and Ray Smith out there in Belleville, Mifflin County, checks in with a 70. Cloudy at his place now. In our backyard, it's also cloudy, and the reading is about, it's close to 70. It's kind of cool, 72. 38% humidity. The wind is south at 10, and the barometer at 30 inches even. The range in temperature here today, 77 and 47. Quite a bit of sunshine this afternoon. 97 the record high, 79 and 57 the range a year ago. And there's a view today of Mill Creek in Schuylkill County. Satellite view is up next. Look at all the clouds now threatening Pennsylvania. Rain is now breaking out in southwestern Pennsylvania. A lot of heavy thunderstorms out this way. The center of the storm that is tracking towards us now in Kentucky, and that could bring some heavy rain, as I mentioned, tomorrow morning. And then this line, this cold front will move on through, and it's a strong front, so it's going to cool us off quite a bit later on in the week because the jet stream shows another big dip in the east, and that will allow another pool of Canadian air to spill down over Pennsylvania as we head through the 3rd and into the 4th. But by then, I think things will be shaping up to be quite nice. Now, rain beginning here in the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton area anytime after 9 o'clock tonight. A little bit sooner out in the central counties. About 62 in Mahoupany, Freeland. 61 for the low tonight. About 64 in Selinsgrove. The same in Montoursville. The breeze up the southeast at 15. Here's the sunrise time for tomorrow morning, and that will be at 5:34. Behind the clouds. 8:40. Sunset tomorrow night. Overnight tonight, the rain will be coming in, and again, it could be heavy, maybe as much as a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch of rain could fall between now and midday tomorrow. 62 here, about 70 for the high tomorrow. Showers through the morning hours, and then kind of tapering off in the afternoon tomorrow. Those should remain rather cloudy, though. And then on Thursday, partly sunny, cool. 72, a cold wind blowing, and maybe a shower in the midday hours. On the 4th of July, it looks like a nice sunny day with comfortable humidity, temperatures in the mid-70s. And same in New York, Karen. It should be dry out there as well.
Oh, I hope so.
Wonderful.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay.
The Sports Watch is next with Tim Carlson with speculation on the new Oakland A's manager.
Plus, the Red Sox new pitcher, Tom Seaver, makes his first start.
Honey, I brought home your favorite ice cream.
Oh, bonbons. The finger food ice cream. What have you got in mind?
You're sharing.
Sharing what?
These delicious bonbons, of course.
And what else, George?
Bonbons brand ice cream nuggets from Carnation. Bite-sized scoops of creamy ice cream, like new chocolate peanut butter and Bavarian mint, covered in a rich chocolatey coating. Bonbons, the finger food ice cream.
George, let's share some more.
The great outdoors and Genesee beer have a lot in common. They're both clean, fresh, pure. In the late 1800s, the American buffalo was almost extinct, but today the herds are thriving. Now, that's worth drinking, too, with the premium taste of Genesee beer. Genesee beer, the great outdoors in a glass. Celebrate America's birthday with the taste of the great outdoors. Look for this Genesee Beer and Ale display at your favorite distributor. And don't forget, plenty of Jenny.
Attention! I'm Drill Sergeant Murphy, and I'm going to teach you jugheads the right way to cook out. Man your grills. Forget the newspaper, the wood, or the lighter fluid. Use only Quick Joe, the original Instant Start charcoal. Now, place the charcoal in the grill. You'll notice that Quick Joe is clean and easy to handle. Ready with your matches? Take aim, fire! Well, men, what do you know? We're going home for Quick Joe! Now, who's got the hamburgers?
Well, I guess there aren't too many elderly gentlemen in baseball, but it was a new uniform for an older player, right?
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you something, too. As I get up in age, it makes me feel better to see these older guys doing well.
Yeah, you are getting old, Tim.
Thanks, Karen. Oh, it's going to be one of those days. Okay. One of the old men of baseball gets off to a new start tonight in Boston. It'll be 41-year-old Tom Seaver pitching for the Sox against Toronto at Fenway. Seaver came to the Red Sox in a trade made late Saturday night, but announced Sunday afternoon as the Red Sox sent Seaver's former team, the Chicago White Sox, outfielder Steve Lyons. So far this year, the three-time Cy Young Award winner is 2-6 with a 4.38 earned run average, but that was with a struggling Chicago team. Seaver, I'm sure, will be getting better support from the first-place Red Sox and hoping to add to his 306 career wins. And, of course, we'll have highlights of Tom Terrific tonight on the Update. Out in Chicago, an afternoon baseball game, the Cubs and Expos, and Montreal is trying to win their fourth straight. This one scoreless through 5 innings. One reason, poor base running like this by Thad Bosley of the Cubs. He's caught in a rundown, and he is tagged out by the catcher. And then came the rain. That probably is moving our way, I would imagine. There's the tarp. It's nothing in the fifth with a rain delay. Let's go to the scoreboard now. There you see the Cubs in Montreal. No score in the fifth. One game in the American League this afternoon, a fine pitching performance by John Butcher of Cleveland. He shut out Oakland 9-0. Mel Hall with a couple of home runs for the Indians. Well, there's talk around baseball today that recently fired Chicago White Sox manager Tony La Russa will replace recently fired Oakland A's manager Jackie Moore. For La Russa, the timing is there. He's out of a job, and it looks as if interim manager Jeff Newman won't be kept on a permanent basis at Oakland. And La Russa was a winner with the White Sox, so why not? Well, maybe he's not ready to work again.
The only minuses are, I kind of figured that I'd be out for the summer, and gearing back to start managing my ways, it's kind of a problem for me.
How about that guy? He's got a chance for a job, doesn't want to go to work. Okay. College football Heisman Trophy winner from this past season made his professional sports debut last night, but he wasn't running for touchdowns. Bo Jackson began his pro baseball career with the Southern League's Memphis Chicks. Jackson, who recently decided to play baseball instead of football, got off to a good start in his first at bat for the Royals AA farm team. Bo came up with a single to center field, driving in 2 runs. His next 3 trips to the plate, not as successful. He struck out in the 4th. Here it is here. Swing and a miss. You're out of there. Then he grounded back to the pitcher in the 6th and then struck out in the 9th. But even Bo Jackson didn't run for a touchdown every time at Auburn, right? Well accepted by the fans and players, even though the Chicks lost. But then again, Chicks fans haven't had much to cheer about lately. They haven't been in the Southern League playoffs in 5 years. No upsets in Wimbledon quarterfinal play today. We take a look at some of the highlights. Yvonne Lendl, the men's top seed, had to finish his 4th-round match started yesterday and ended up struggling to defeat Matt Anger 6-7, 7-6, 6-4, and 7-6. On the women's side, the semifinals are set. Top seed Martina Navratilova will meet 10th seed Gabriela Sabatini. They both won today. And 2nd seed Chris Everlade will meet 3rd seed Hanna Mandlikova. They both won their matches today. Back on the Update with more about Tom Terrific in Boston and, of course, the Yanks, Medicine Hill.
Okay, only kidding. You're not getting old.
Thanks,
You're getting better.
Oh, you're so nice.
We'll continue this niceness as we celebrate America next as Newswatch 16 continues.
Tonight we'll visit with some people who want to become part of the great melting pot.
Mommy, it hurts.
Metaquick is quick medicine.
Metaquick works quick. Its bubbling action cleans away dirt from cuts, scrapes, and scratches while it kills germs that can cause infection.
Metaquick is quick medicine.
Honey?
Metaquick is quick medicine.
New Metaquick First Aid Ointment contains 3 antibiotics to kill germs: bacitracin, polymyxin, and neomycin. It's the quick way to protect against infection.
Metaquick is quick medicine.
There's a party going on right here. With these crispy nuggets, they're new and really good. So bring your good friends and your family too. Wendy's got crispy chicken nuggets for you. Come on now. Let's all celebrate and have a good time.
Come celebrate new crispy chicken nuggets at Wendy's.
Finally tonight, as Newswatch 16 celebrates America all this week, we celebrate liberty. Newswatch 16's Kathy Bellis talked with some new immigrants today in Allentown who are just finding out about liberty and freedom, things that continue to make our country a giant melting pot. I met 3 people today who don't take for granted for 1 minute their freedom here in the United States. Kazimierz Shapansky, Ming Nguyen, and Bong Nguyen. They all live in Allentown, but they were born far away, in different worlds, it seems. Kazimierz is a Polish immigrant. He lives here with his wife and 2 daughters. One starts school in the fall. He says everyday life in Poland 2 years ago was bristled with problems.
I have a car in Poland, but I have limit. About 10 gallons a month for my car. When people want to buy food, must wait in the store one day.
1 day?
1 day.
What were they waiting for? There were lines?
Line.
Ming Nguyen is a Vietnamese refugee. He and his family are still trying to get 2 more children here to the United States. Ming spent his last days in Vietnam in a prison camp, fighting to stay alive despite a lack of food, water, and medicine. He escaped after 2 years.
I was looking for freedom. Yeah, looking here.
And did you find it here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Bong Nguyen is also a Vietnamese refugee. His wife is still trying to get to this country while he's learning how to fix cars. The Statue of Liberty is a special symbol to Bong.
When I saw the Liberty statue on the TV, I think this is the big United States, very big country and freedom and everybody happy to live in this country. I hope my life will be happy with everybody in this United States.
The America is good for everybody.
I'm lucky. I come to America. America is the best country for me.
Kathy Bellich, Newswatch 16, Allentown.
And that is Newswatch 16 for Tuesday.
Be sure to join us tonight on the update when we'll have a satellite report from our crew following the Great American Car Race in Indiana.
ABC and World News Tonight is next. For the team, thank you for joining us.
Enjoy your evening.